Okay, so now we are back. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. In the core Osint program now, while Anurag Gupta sir has done awesome work and still continue to build some strong foundation for Osint using Python, because Python is a prerequisite for success, and I'm sure that you all are enjoying it. Good to see you back, all of you, on Sunday for the second session, same day. And we'll delve into some finer points of Osint before we jump into the actual practicals. So let's start from the core where we have left last. So last time we discussed about the four main stages of Osint cycle. Definitely requirement gathering, retrieving data, analyzing information, and finally the pivoting and reporting. So today we'll delve into a little bit of retrieving data and analyzing information, and finally a little bit on the pivoting and reporting. Let's see, how much we can cover it up today, but at least analyzing information, we should be able to cover it up, in a very detailed manner, so that we are left only with the practical, no more theories left there. Okay, so we'll dive into the collecting part of it, how to collect and what are the options we have and what processes we need to follow, what are good practices versus bad practices, what is the best practices, and we'll go much deeper into that actually. So when you are going for collecting the information, and information can be anything. A scenario can be email has come to you and that your system is hacked and we need to pay some ransomware for you. Otherwise, if you don't pay it, and the mail, very similar to that it comes. It may not be the same mail, but it can be very similar to it. So when you see in the screen, it is Rosebud. He has sent you a mail, and his email ID is rosebud@outlook.com. Now, is it a real name or an odd name or a good name, or it is just an alias name? Well, you have no clue about it. It has come. So Rose3Bud is the name which appear on your screen, and you are worried that what went wrong. And as an Osint investigator, you have been given the task to find out who the person is. So if you look into, the natural search for this name will be Rosebud, and try to search whether similar name exists in the LinkedIn. Because most of the hackers will have Twitter accounts and also have some LinkedIn account. You don't know. And whether it is right or wrong, you have no clue about it. It may be right name or it can be wrong. Or it can be simply a trap for you to bring it to LinkedIn. Now, you visit LinkedIn as a normal user, you will have then you find there is a social media search clearly suggests that this name Rosebud, there is a LinkedIn account. Now you visit the LinkedIn and you say Information Security Liberator, E-Corp, and the guy is also the masters of hacking. You know that, it appears to be similar profile because the mail that you have got it's all about somebody has already hacked it and they are ready to dump the, unless you pay them 5 Bitcoin. 5 Bitcoin is a big money. It's almost like 1 crore rupees. So now you find this and, this could be the bad, because the hacking 6 and MR4536R5, they are very, very, hackers, deep hacking capability. They keep this type of degrees. Okay. So now, Mr. Robot is nothing, is possibly a hacker. Now, a new mail comes to you the moment you search in LinkedIn. And within 5 minutes, you get another mail. 0 minute ago. Just could not help useful yourself, could you? I warned you not to try to find me. Well, say hello to your privates going to be public. Now, the moment you go to the LinkedIn and you have seen his profile, the guy know that you have already tried to search him who he is. And now he sends another mail to you. So what mistake you have done? You have used it, you got trapped in his trap and he made you visit LinkedIn, and your investigation is technically disrupted because he knows that you are investigating him. So there are a lot of lessons learned from these small events, so how to do the investigations, there are more smarter than just going and searching for someone. Okay. So we definitely need to have a very, very reliable process, and we need to have very, very structured process so that we don't exhibit ourselves that we are searching the person. So gather requirements before working. What are the information that you need to gather? You must have the checklist with you, and you should know how to gather those information in a very smart way, and not the stupid way you just visit the LinkedIn with your company profile and suddenly land up, in a trap, and the hacker sends back your mail. Don't search me. I know you are searching me. Make the payment. Otherwise, I'm going to make public. And your investigation gets hampered. So beware your network traffic and what it gives away. When you are visiting someone and shaking hand with someone, it's not that you are shaking hand, the other is also shaking hand with you. Web is all about shaking hands. So when you send a TCP packet, you get an acknowledgement packet. Yes, I acknowledge you. Why you get it? Because there is an IP address at the side. The IP address sends back the message acknowledgement packet. In turn, you establish a connection. Now, these connections are technically a complete handshake, whether other person touches you and you touch others. So don't get confused. At any point of time on internet, you are touching other's hand and other is also touching your hand. And that is where, infection starts. So understand properly how to configure your systems. Okay. And I don't know how much deep we'll go into that, but we'll do some exercises to make you aware that what are the system consideration we should use it to do a small bit of investigation at lower level of investigation. Don't use your personal account for your work. Okay. Whatever work you are doing, if you are using personal account, basically you are exposing yourself, that you are behind it. And if you are connected to another entity, 1 + 1 in intelligence world is 11. It is not 1 + 1 2. So just be careful about it. It's nothing some extraordinary precaution you need to take for a small investigation. But when you are real investigator, then you definitely be concerned about your investigations. And whatever you are doing, you need to document. Okay. Documentation is the biggest skill that you need to learn as a part of any investigation, including Osint investigation. So one of the most important things is the note making. How to make the notes. So it is always used to use pencils. Nowadays people stop writing in pencils. I don't believe in writing anything on the digital front when I am doing the investigation. While you can do it, there are ways to do that. You can open the notepad, you can type it out there. But more you type, you leave your footprints in the digital. So it is always good to use the paper and pencils, which people hate nowadays. But as a great investigator, you need to earn that art. Okay. Otherwise, pencil making example, we use pencil. Nobody is interested in its manufacturing process except the manufacturer. But learn. Okay. Similarly, customer is only interested in the result, is not in anything that you want to do it. Okay. So if your master has given you a task, master is only expected to know the outcome of your result, how you have achieved it. He's not interested, but you must follow the right process so that you don't get busted and the master gets hurt out of that actually. So customer just want the result, but as an investigator, it is important for us to keep records of process of investigation for future reference. Many times when you are doing the investigation, you will have to reproduce that in the court of law as an investigator. If you are in simple corporate work, you may not need that, but still it is a good practice to have it. These are all habits. I don't know how many you will remember the word. Habit word has got 5 words, HABIT. Once you make a habit, even you remove H from the habit, a bit remains. If even the word HA, you remove it, bit remains. Even you remove HAB, it remains. So make it a habit so that whenever you are doing investigation, you should know how to make a small notes. It's always good to use pencils. And if it is a, investigations like, investigative agencies, you need to know what paper you need to use. There are specialized papers, which does not leave any traces once you write, it is not visible to normal pair of eyes, but it still gives you information where it has been given. Okay. So depending upon the need, but as an investigator, writing it in a pen and pencils, it's a great habit, and that need to build as a habit. That's a great thing to do. So you can also do the documentations for many purposes. It can be for writing your own blogs. You want to become an Osint investigator, and you want to publish stories. So how you have achieved that, you can write it, steps. You don't, as a blog writer of investigator, you are supposed to maintain the secrecy, but you can still publish something without giving the name of the entity, the name of the person you have investigated. But if it's a good habit of writing that what steps you have taken, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 steps you have taken, next, time, if the same problem comes, can you reduce the steps or can you use the same 10 steps? It is always good to do the lesson learned out of one investigation to repeat, make it as a repeatable process, an automated process. That will reduce your, drudgery of an investigations, particularly if you are doing into large investigation, 100 investigation in a month, you cannot, miss a steps and go back to zero and start from start. So it is always good to have a habit of writing down every steps, and that will help you build some extraordinary capabilities in investigators. And one more good thing is that, many times when you write those steps, if your teammates wants to do the similar investigation, you can give the steps to them so that their life also becomes easier for you, because your success is a team success. So lesson learned need to be captured very smartly and pass on to the next generation. Sometimes the customer may ask for report that how did you arrive at? That time also it helps. Many times the notes are written based on the customer needs, because when you are doing the requirement gathering, the customer's requirements are very much known to you. And based on those requirements, you do the investigations. So many times customer may want to see the steps that you have taken to comprehend that, how you arrived at a conclusions. Because customer also sometimes want to validate whether the truth has come out correctly or not, and whether you have followed the right process. So note becomes a handy ground for that. So suppose if the customer did not specify their need to record everything, a minimum certain thing you must record. Okay. One of the things is that, the posted image, screenshots, web or other content, picture of the web pages may be required as a part of the investigative reports. Because when you are preparing the report, it is nice to put some of those pages that, you have taken this photograph, this photograph has been investigated, this report has come out of that photograph. What tool you have used for that, is not required sometimes it is required. Very smart customers, you might require to produce that. And if you are producing in the court of law, then you will have to show them that, it is a repeatable process. Then what are the URLs you visited, especially one that had important or useful content? Those URL details, you should write it down so that, you know that this path you have followed. The dates and the time you visited the web, because tomorrow as an investigator in the court, somebody challenge you that where did you get it? I said, I got it from which? What time did you get it? What evidence you have got that you have got it from that place? If you don't have habit of recording every steps that you do correctly, in the court of law, it will become very difficult to reproduce the evidence the way you have done it. So as an investigator, it is good to write those steps, times, terms, screenshots, Having a timeline of the actions you took during investigations can be helpful, particularly with law enforcement agencies and legal entities. Very, very helpful steps. How have you found the information? How you have accessed the information? What method you use it to discover what you are recording? Those informations are very, very critical. Many times, even the version number of particular tool you need to give them. So it is always good to go details of that, which version of the tool you have used for investigating. If you are using, specific tools like any search engine, you are using it, you're using search engine aggregators, or you are using geolocation finders or email finders. Those detailings, it becomes very helpful for the law enforcement agencies to produce the evidences. Many times, you don't like to, I don't know how many of you remember, all of you remember the word sock puppet? Any one of you, can just type it out next to the chat window. All of you remember sock puppet? Just put yes or just put your hand on. Okay. Yeah, so sock puppet is technically a fake account that you create for hiding your information. Now, when you are as investigators, you may like to divulge it. If you are working with a law enforcement agency, you can divulge it, or you can avoid that. If there is a need for it, divulge it. Otherwise, don't. So it's always good to use sock puppet when you are going into deeper level of investigations. Okay. Because if the moment you disclose it, you have basically burned the account. You cannot use it for again for the same purpose, because it will get published, it will go to the press, then you are done. So sock puppet account names that you use to gather data, you may also not wish to divulge, so some secrecy maintained for that. Okay. Now, many times when you are doing the investigations, some of the things you can use network packet capture software like Wireshark, TCP dump, or any other, packet capture tools. Now, you need to really understand, what are the things that you can utilize for that purpose. So some of the tools, that we use it for documentations, I love using, Python and Python related components, but there are good processes like visualization tools that we use it. Suppose if you want to establish a network relations between thousands of people. Now, these thousands of people relationship, that who is connected to whom, it's a complex, network. If you give a report that who is connected to whom, it will go into 100 pages. But if you use the graph database or a simple plotting of a graph, then you can see this is the person center and everybody is connected to him this way. So you can give a graph for that actually. Or you want to do the steps of investigations, any one of you know about mind map?
Sir, only heard the name in documentaries and web series.
Correct. So mind map is another, very interesting way of, producing the information. So many of these information, graphical display of information, becomes a very important part of report writing. So visualization tool like Tableau and we'll go delve into detail of that. Okay. And analyzing large amount of data, and a lot of automations that is required for that, you might require some tools. And that is the reason why, we are delving into Python, because all of the things are free. You don't require to spend money for that. If you know the tools and libraries, and scripting, you can build your own capabilities around that. So Maptolib is a library, which we'll discuss, little bit about that. I don't know whether Anurag sir will have time to discuss that, but there are many other libraries. Okay. Libraries we should not learn from Anurag sir. We can do on our own rather than using it. Learn the underlying engineering around that, and then using the library is a much easier task. Second thing is that you need to do the note keeping. You can do it online note keeping and Notepad++, or you can use Notepad, or you can use any other text writers, or manually record it. Many times, documenting the apps, you might require to take the screenshots. Now you have a choice to take the screenshots by print screens, or you should use the automated tool for that. I recommend automated, tool for that, and we can write a real, Python program we can make out of that. Okay. So there are a lot of, recording, documenting apps are there, like Word is there, Excel is there, and there can be many more actually. Okay. So if you look into the visualizer part of it, many of the big, intelligence organizations, they use i2. Is an IBM based tools, i2 analyst notebook, which is used by CIA and NSA, and it is also used by many of the intelligence agencies across the globe. Then Tableau is another tool, visualization engine. It's a paid engine. It costs you some $2,000, $1,000. You can buy it, and then you can use Tableau for that purpose. There are tools like Meltigo, which you can use for searching it and creating the visualization engine around that. And there are many, but I love Python. So you can see in the last point of it, there are Python libraries like Matplotlib, Seaborn, Pandas plotting, Plotly, Bokeh, or Altairs. They are some of the libraries which can be utilized for doing a nice plotting and graphings. And we can pick up some of the threads from there. Okay. Similarly, for note taking, there are a lot of Microsoft OneNote is there, Evernote is there, Google Keep is there, Notepad++ is there. Mind maps, you have got XMind, FreeMind, Mindomo, these tools. You can use text engines, you can use MS Word, LibWord, LibPad, Notepad++, and there are, a lot of, other components are there built in Linux actually. And for dashboards, Hunchly dashboards, Google Chrome extensions, Periscope is there, Microsoft Step Recorder is there. Anything that you log, it saves in .mst file, and step by step it records it. And in every Microsoft products, built-in macros are there to do the recordings. Whatever you're doing, it will keep on recording, and you can revisit them step by step. It shows you. But I believe in doing things using Python, and Python provides you. So today we learn about OS and OS path. Is that right? We can use OS on OS path for that, for file handling. We can use shutil, glob, pathleave, file inputs, IO, zip file. If you want to create a zip file, you can do it. Tar file you want to create, you can use tar file. And there are a lot of libraries, documentations, lot of libraries are there for file handlings. Now, screen capture, which I was talking about. So there are a lot of tools are there for screen capture. Microsoft, you have got print screen, print SC, or print screen commands. You can use it. There are tabs also attached to that. You can use Alt print screen or Window key plus G to record using gaming bar. This on Window. And Mac, you have got Command plus Shift, Command Shift 4, Command Shift 5. You want to do the screen recording minute by minute, you can use Command Shift 5, and whatever you type, it creates. But you can use the same thing. So irrespective of which platform you are in, a simple tool like PyUto GUI can be used, and in tandem with the time library, second by second you can record it. And there are very simple commands, 2-3 steps of programming. You can do the minute by minute screen recordings, and it records the screen every seconds. And we'll do the practical around that. Is that okay? So, but in addition to that, there are private companies are there, Fasttones, Image Viewers, Snagit or Shutters, which provides you similar capabilities. But more tool you use it, more chances you will get exposed, because for buying those tools, you will have to give your cards, you will have to give your cranes, and we use those tools. People know that, this company is there, and this company, if it is a connected with, American companies, American company will come to know that you are the person behind it. So whether you should use the tool or whether you should script, I'll recommend use the scripts rather than the tools, and build your own tools around that. Okay. Timeline generations, there is another very interesting, components where use common office software like MS Office, Open Office, or LibreOffice, and slide making apps such as Microsoft PowerPoint. You can use it for establishing the events occur, what order it occurred. And there are timeline applications like Aeon Timeline and Timeline by Night Labs are there. But in Python, you have got simple command button, the simple program buttons are the libraries is there, time library, which you can utilize it for recording the screenshots and establishing the time machines around that actually. Okay, so that was the, the basics, very basics of, Osint and how you do it. Okay, what tools you can use it and what you cannot use it. I always recommend that use scripts and use your own pen and paper to document it. Don't leave footprints online. Learn how to report it offline and submit it if it's sensitive reports. Don't put it on the network. Don't put it in your machine, because anything that you have in machine, for me, it is already breached, and it's very difficult to protect the component. So when you are doing it, do it with 100%. When you are having a Dell machines or any machines, you will find that you have a camera attached to that, and there is a shutter around that. Is that right? So always you will set the shutters. Suppose you set the shutters. I am off for you, but my gut feel is that this shutter is still taking my photograph. So those who want to know about me, they know it that my shutter is on. So I'll prefer to put a bindi there rather than putting the shutter on. Okay. So just be careful, when you are having a mobile phone, you have got a camera here, and you also have a camera this side. So you never know that whether the camera is on or off. Is that right? So should I put, the camera on or off? And you will come to know that in certain part of the screen, you have the camera, you can put a bindi there, and, you can forget about it. On both sides, you have put bindi. That's it. Simple tape, cello tape or something like that, you are done. Avoid any footprints of your face and other things if you are a secret investigator, because nothing is safe. All these devices, are all there for, breaching your privacy. So you have no choice. Okay. So now second thing is that you need to determine your threat profile, who you are, what you do, and why it is so important to be secret. Okay. If you have a profile, you must understand your threat profile first. If you understood your threat profile, based on that, you need to take the precautions. It's not that every cases, you need to take extraordinary precaution and become finicky about it. No need for that. If, my face is a useless face, it does not matter anything for the country. So even if you see, it doesn't matter. So it's there on the video there, and I'll continue to be like this. But if it is important for you to be anonymous, then you need to be anonymous. Otherwise, you end up, doing something which are not good for the organization and you. So give me just 1 second. Just read it out. Whatever is there, just read it out. So what is the level of openness you need to follow in Osint? Depends upon what work you do. If you are from the law enforcement agencies, do you want to really delve and let people know that you are an investigator, or you are a simple, employees like me who does not care about the investigation. When I do the investigation, I'll remain, silent about it. Okay. So I'll have a sock puppet, and when I have to be silent, I'll be completely silent. When I am not silent, I'll not use the same things, and I'll mask everything as much as possible. So you can have a Jekyll Hyde type of character if you want to be, but never disclose, if you are coming from the law enforcement or defense organizations background, never ever, show your profile in public domain, because anything that is in public domain is the best thing to know about you and target you the way they, will like to target you. So, but suppose if you are a simple corporate person and you are still doing the Osint, when you are doing the Osint, remain silent as much as possible. You don't need to be clandestine, but you need to be overt actually, or maybe a little bit of covert, depending upon what sort of, profile you want to use it. So the level of openness defines your overt to clandestine journey. Overt is, that is open, okay? Not trying to be stealthy in our work. Does not matter if the website we visit, tool we use, or even our target to see we are collecting the information. No problem. Then remain overt. But if you want to have a low attributions, deniable and secretive, but not clandestine. Clandestine means zero. Nothing is visible to the world. Who you are, what you are, where are you coming from, what do you want, which country you are there, which IP address is there. Then you become unattributable, attributable and absolutely concealed. So depending upon, the level of openness, there are 3 levels of openness, and which start with overt to absolutely clandestine. So it's a journey between open to become 100% anonymous. In between, you have covert. Okay. Low attribution will be still there. So when you are in, low attribution, it's very important to understand a clause of plausible deniability. The sponsor can always say that, I'm not connected with that. Most of the, secret agents, those who work for the country or nation like CIA, they will always have a plausible deniability clause. And if they get attributed, then they will say he was not part of my organization. He was there in Navy. Now he is no longer with us. That's it. He's a journalist now. So for that, what are the components that you need to take into account? So whatever footprints or the fingerprint that you create, it has to be as lowest level of attribution as possible, but need not be clandestine. But an operation is being conducted by a government organization against another government organization. You cannot remain attributable. And I'll give you some example for that in my class, that how something can be attributed to individuals and can become so embarrassing for the government. So it is very important to distinguish between covert and clandestine. Clandestine means 100% anonymous, and absolutely anonymous for nothing is attributable. So when you are going to using a VPN, you are still attributable. But attributable to whom? Only to government agency of other country. Okay. There are laws. Suppose you are using VPN company provides information by law to the government agency. Now section, there is a regulation has come from 13. So any VPN you are using in the country, the VPN company will have to maintain the log for 3 years time. And whenever they want investigative agencies about that, they are bound to produce, the actually attribute who is the person this particular session has been done. So VPN, even if you are using it, it is attributable to country by law. So when you are talking to a telephone, it is not attributable to everybody. But law enforcement agency, they want to know this call has happened between two people, this time, this telephone number, who is the person behind it. The subscriber detail records will be given to the investigative agencies. That becomes attributable. So you need to understand the very fine difference between attributable versus unattributable. Now, suppose if you are using proxy server with Tor on top of it, you are using SOC proxies plus Tor, and you are also using, the different jump, patterns, which is coming from outside the country, chances of attribution is very low. And when you are a law enforcement agency with that sort of profile, it is good time to utilize those capabilities. So I hope that is the final difference between covert and clandestine is all about being 100% anonymous with a little bit of attribution, but they are very close to it. And there is level of, unattributable, capabilities, there are level of understandings around that, and which starts from 0% to 5%. Anything above 5% is covert. If it is 0%, it is clandestine. If it is up to 5%, there is no numbers to that, but if it is at 5% attributable, it is low attribution. If it is 100% attributable, it is overt. So I'll give you an example for that, so something like, publicizing, okay? I don't know how many of you will remember, just after Kargil war, a news item become public that Pervez Musharraf is talking to Jeeping, and it has been released by the Indian government that these people are talking. Now, this is nothing but publicizing that these two people are talking nonsense, and this is the evidence for that. But you know what went wrong in that particular cases? It becomes, everything become, the sock puppet become attributable. So the person who has actually done this operation, his life will be threatened because his identity has been divulged. Same thing happened in case of. So there is a organization, Bellingcat, they divulged the information. Eric Toller went public and revealed the identity of a Russian GRU agent as a person of interest in downing of Malaysian Airlines 17 MH17. I don't know how many of you remember the MH17, crisis. The person, that went missing. Now, publicly tying a member of Russia's largest intelligence agency to an event and using your name is a high-risk event. Now, Eric Toller has become very popular, but same time, Eric Toller has become a person who is attributed back to this entire events. So we need to be very careful about that. It is important to weigh the risk of releasing the information to public against our own safety, particularly for investigators' safety. Any question here, I'll just stop here because this is a very sensitive topic and it's good to have a view from all of you.
Yeah. सर, अगर जैसे आपने अभी बताया कि हर चीज रिकॉर्ड होती है डिजिटली, तो इट माइट बी अ पॉसिबिलिटी कि अभी हम जो जूम सेशन कर रहे हैं ये भी अब जूम क्राउड सर्वर पे अपने रिकॉर्ड कर रहा हो.
निश्चित तौर पे हो रहा है रिकॉर्ड, अब तो यूट्यूब में रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है.
तो सर मतलब ये सच है कि प्राइवेसी एंड
डेमोक्रेसी एट्रिब्यूटेबल है, ये 100% एट्रिब्यूटेबल.
मतलब ये बिल्कुल सच है कि प्राइवेसी एंड डेमोक्रेसी बोथ आर मिथ्स.
हाँ, तो वी नीड टू वेट कि जरूरत है इसका करने या नहीं जरूरत. मुझे लगता है इसकी जरूरत है, ये जानकारी लोगों को जानी चाहिए. इसलिए मैं वो चीज नहीं बताऊंगा जो जानकारी जाना नहीं चाहिए. I won't teach you, how to become 100% anonymous. Then you become unattributable within the government organizations. So
वो तो आपने कल बताया,
level of trainings around.
वो तो आपने कल बताया था ना, वो एक पर्टिकुलर लेवल पे होने के बाद ही आप हमें बताएंगे जब हम एक पर्टिकुलर लेवल पे पहुंच जाएंगे.
Correct. So anyone else, till now everything is okay?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
You can put your video on, but don't worry about attribution at this point of time, okay? The one who is speaking, I want to see their face.
sir, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sir, this is Hemant, sir. I'm a first year BTech student.
Very feeble, Can you come closer to
Yes.
your mic?
Yeah, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me now? Sir. Sir, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sir, you said there is a little bit difference between covert and clandestine. So if a person is doing an Osint search for a high profile person, like a hacker or advanced hacker, or any government organization, not government organizations, like an advanced hacker. So if we will have a low attribution, or like VPNs, we'll be using VPNs. So why can the hacker get into the systems of the VPN servers to get our attribution, to get our details?
They do it.
Possible? Is it possible?
Very much possible.
Okay, sir.
Many times the VPN servers are hacked.
Uh,
And there are a lot of stories around that.
okay, sir.
But VPN is not is attributable. That's why reason I was saying it is not attributable. It is attributable. Animesh, any thought from you? I've not heard the voice of Mr. Burhanuddin. How do you pronounce your name here? Please help me with your name. Burhanuddin. I've not heard your voice at all. Where are you? Hello? Am I audible? Yeah, I can hear you now.
It's Burhanuddin.
Okay, Burhanuddin. Okay. Vivek, any thought? Some of the voice I have not heard.
सर ये जो एट्रीब्यूटेबिलिटी की बात कर रहे हैं हम, अब किसी भी ओएसएंट के लिए हमें जाना तो ऑनलाइन पड़ेगा। अगर किसी भी चीज के बारे में हमें पता करना है, चाहे वो ईमेल लिंक हो, चाहे वो साइट हो, कुछ भी हो, बट देन व्हेन वी आर गोइंग ऑन अ साइट तो हम अपने पाथ तो छोड़ ही रहे हैं ना कहीं से।
हाँ, तो वही बता रहे हैं कि आपको क्या आपका रिक्वायरमेंट है। यदि आपका सिंपल सर्चेस मार रहे हैं तो सर्च इंजन पे जा रहे हैं, सर्च कर रहे हैं, यू आर एट्रिब्यूटेबल।
नहीं,
लेकिन आपको लग रहा है आपके बारे में किसी को पता नहीं चलना चाहिए, तो आपको अनएट्रिब्यूटेबल बनना पड़ेगा।
नहीं सर, इन केस ऑफ लाइक गवर्नमेंट एजेंसीज, जैसे अगर हैकिंग का कोई केस सॉल्व करना है या कुछ है, तो जब आप जाते हैं किसी भी उसको बैक ट्रैक करते हैं आईपी एड्रेस को या कुछ भी, तो उन हैकर्स ने भी कहीं ना कहीं वो हनीपॉट और ये सब लगा रखे होते हैं, तो इट विल डेफिनेटली कम बैक एंड दे विल गेट टू नो।
तो आप गवर्नमेंट एजेंसी के हैकर हैं और आप हैकिंग करते हैं, तो आपको तो एनोनिमस होना चाहिए। यदि आप नहीं है तो प्रॉब्लम है।
तो दैट इज व्हाई यू आर सेइंग कि स्क्रिप्टिंग करके मतलब खुद के यूज करना ज्यादा जरूरी है।
हाँ, जितने टूल्स आप यूज करेंगे एट्रिब्यूटेबिलिटी बढ़ जाती है, तो आपको मिनिमल टूल यूज करना है। और दूसरा क्या है कि आपका फुटप्रिंट्स और फिंगरप्रिंट्स के बारे में आपको केयरफुल रहना है।
सर पाइथन के है सर, लव कुछ है सर, पाइथन के थ्रू हम क्या डिजिटल आइडेंटिफिकेशन कर सकते हैं?
हाँ,
एनोनिमसली।
हाँ,
तो हमें जाने ही ना पड़े डार्क वेब पे, और ऑटोमेटिक स्क्रिप्ट के थ्रू सारा डेटा ग्रैब करके देन।
हाँ, लेकिन आप जब जा रहे हैं तो कहीं तो टच करेंगे ना आप मशीन को।
हाँ, डेस्टिनेशन पर तो जाएंगे ही जाएंगे।
वो तो टच करेंगे ना, सेकंड तो करेंगे तभी तो वहां से डाटा आएगा आपको। तो सेकंड करेंगे तो अपना एट्रीब्यूट करेंगे, आप अपना आइडेंटिटी करेंगे, आईपी एड्रेस शेयर करेंगे, मैक एड्रेस शेयर करेंगे, अपना ओएस डिटेल शेयर करेंगे, बहुत सारा इंफॉर्मेशन शेयर करते हैं। तो उसको कैसे ब्लॉक करेंगे वो सीखना पड़ेगा, डिपेंड करता है। इसीलिए क्लैंडस्टाइन होना है तो आपको बहुत ज्यादा कुछ करना पड़ेगा, इवन कोवर्ट होना है तो बहुत कुछ करना पड़ेगा। ओवर्ट है कोई बात नहीं, फिर तो आप गूगल में
Open ही
सर्च
है।
कर रहे हैं।
Sir, which are the safest browsers and search engines?
There are many, and we'll discuss about that actually.
Okay,
Just
sir.
next few slides will go there. Okay, so कुछ क्वेश्चंस जो है ना बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है। some questions are really you need to answer it before you understand your need for being covert or overt. First question, who you are, where are you, and what are you looking for? Suppose if you are coming to me and searching about me, my websites, I'll always have the questions, who are you, where are you, and what are you looking for? ये 3 क्वेश्चन का आंसर हर वेबसाइट्स अपना ढूंढने की कोशिश करता है। हर वेबसाइट पे जब जाते हैं, whenever you visit a website, the website will, if there is a smart person who is behind the backside, they will take this 3 information from you. So when they ask you the question, who are you, we'll create an account ID and password for you to know more about me. Now, when you create your ID and password, I'll take some more information about it. Now, you are giving what are the information? I'll ask your telephone numbers. I'll send you an SMS. Then I'll send you an email ID. I'll send you an SMS. And you will get code for that. You confirm that your identity is verified, then only you do it. So not only I know you, who you are, what is your name, what is your email ID, what is your telephone number, we also know your machine footprints. What OS is there, what IP address you have come from, and many more information about your systems. Okay. Then, many times, we'll also know your geolocations. So if you are sharing your IP address, with the help of IP address, I'll be able to find your geolocations. Now, suppose if you have come from VPN, then I know you are using VPN. Even I'll come to know about that you are using VPN. And suppose if you are coming from Pakistan, and I don't want you to see your face here, then I'll block those IP address and you will not be able to see me. I want to know more about you. Then I know you are using VPN and your jump setting is such that you are showing that you are from Pakistan, but you are not from Pakistan. So, who you are, who are you? As a user, you should know who you are and what you want to show it to others. And as a recipient, I'd like to know who are you, where are you from, what's your name, what your telephone number, and all those details. That will provide me more insight about you. Now, the second question is that, where are you? Now, the network traffic is coming from certain place. I know where are you. Very interestingly, if you know the MAC ID, we know which particular brand of machine you are using it. MAC ID has got a very unique phenomenon. I don't know whether anyone of you know about it. MAC ID is a very specific number. Certain numbers specify that which company it is there. And other part of the content, it also can tell you this company, they are using this particular number for this country. And they are through Osint, you can find those things. So if I know your MAC ID, which I can know because you are coming to me, so you are divulging some of your information. So your fingerprint and footprint both are there. Many times, I am sitting on the middle of it as one of the router. But I know that where are you coming from and where are you going? If I am with internet service provider and handling some of those routers, then I know where are you coming from, where are you going. So when you are looking for operational security, and covertness of our assessments, it's very important to understand this dimension that somebody is there in between who knows you, where are you coming from and where are you going. So if you have to manage your footprints and fingerprint and you have to discard it, level of covertness that you are going to use, if you are going towards anonymous, then your every footprint and fingerprint has to be 0, 0, 0. Nothing should be attributable at any point of time. And then somebody, suppose in my wife's website, you visit cybervidyapit.in, I like to know which particular part of the web page you are going. Any one of you are about JMeter?
No, sir.
So JMeter is a component, which is used for performance monitoring, web performance monitoring. But the same JMeter also tell you in web page where you are. So suppose if you have come to my web page and visited a particular page and click it there and visited there, then I know that in this particular page you are interested for knowing about cloud security training. So I know precisely that you are interested for cloud security. I'm okay with that. Somebody wants to go and try to search those pages where my databases are there, then I know that this person is interested about databases and possibly I'll be able to block it or I'll do something so that I know more about him. So what are you looking for is another specific questions, which I like to know when you are visiting my website. And you must remember this, what you are looking for. Can you hide your intentions? You are going to a website, hide your intentions. How to hide your intentions? And there are methods for that. Okay. So if you have already infiltrated the hacker group and you want to know more about it, they are all super guys and they will know immediately that why you are there. So you must learn art of war, how to become a family member for an enemy and remain there as a son till the last day of his journey. That's a very specific art that you need to use when you are with the hackers group. So where are the places where, the data gets leaked out? Okay. So where we could giving away clues about who we are, where are we, and what are we doing. If these informations, there are places where you leak out. So we need to start the analysis of application layer. And as this layer sends and receives data from application that we interact to get work done. And that is the place where, you start sending more information about it. So in OSI layer, Open System Interconnect layer, application layer talks to the application layer. And that is where the interaction happens. When the browser sends the information to the web servers, it is at application layer. It is not layer 2, layer 3, layer 1 layer. So, and there are some application layer issues which we must understand that. So being logged into a website, service or device with a personal or private account instead of an Osint who can tell others about you. Why sock puppet is required is only because of that. Okay. Now, when you get a cookie back, whenever we receive a city, the cookies are say, I want to Many times when you say no, it also gets established in your machines. The hackers systems, whether you put yes or no, in both cases, the cookie will get into your systems. They plan it that way. And you think that, you say no, then it will not take you. So even if that button also has the same command which you have got yes command. So just be careful about the cookie is a place that we receive when we visit the site. Web bugs and tracking content website used to target advertising can tie us to your Osint actions. It can divulge a lot of information about you, which includes, footprints and fingerprint both. Or there is something known as callback. Any one of you are aware about callback?
No, sir.
Any one of you? If you don't, no problem. If you know it, then say yes. Okay. So callback is something that the cookie will call back to its master with certain more information as when there is an update on the cookies. So any callback actions actually provides an insight about you, which gives much deeper fingerprint and footprints about you. So you must know at application layer how to block those callbacks. System-based callbacks you need to. So there are two things that happens together. Something known as human machine interface. If I type something and something goes, if I click something it goes, or if I don't do both and still something goes. So how to identify those callbacks and block it can be another area of blocking the fingerprints and footprints. As a hacker, you need to learn that art. As an Osint guy, you need to learn that. So anything that you put add-ons or install inside your browser to assist to work, actually browser itself is a source of concern. On top of that, add-ons, they provide 10 times more bigger concerns. They do callbacks. So these add-ons actually send the traffic about the activity to the author, and add-on other than the reveal can reveal them our work. So browser-based versus application-based, as an Osint investigator, I will prefer application-based or script-based. Think about it. Browser is something which are far too critical than your scripts. It gives a lot of information about you, and you will never come to know what information is being sent out. So having a browser in place itself is a challenge. Having a system without browser, I think it is better to do that. We can remove the browser, and you can't remove that in the Windows. That's the reason I say use Tail OS or Cubic OS or Onion OS and customize your own OS where you remove all the browsers. Only script will interact with the systems. Think through it, depending upon what sort of attribution you are looking for. Okay, if you're looking at deeper attribution, zero attributions, anonymous, then interaction has to be the minimum interfaces. And all these, interfaces are an opportunity to divulge your footprints and fingerprints. All the theory, you can read it. I have told you that browser is useless and it details. All this information about your systems, it goes out to them the moment you use the browsers. That's why, script-based interfaces becomes much more safer than with the browser-based information. Okay. I don't know whether have you seen Electronic Frontier Foundation's Panoptic Click? Browser leaks, is a common information leakages process. So if you are going towards much more safer version of anonymity, I think using browser should be avoided. Okay, it is simple message. I'll give you an example for that. I don't know whether you can see it. Are you able to see it? The device info.me.
Yes, sir.
So these are the information it goes. Connection type, unknown detection, local IP address, language, speaker, not detected, microphone, detect, number of microphone permissions, level 1 microphone, level, and many such information goes out actually. Okay. IP address and network hooks, simple one, can give away through geographical locations. Also network provider, which if you are using Tor anonymity for your intelligence agencies and attackers. Now IP address and network blocks using the Onier router or Tors for our Osint seems like a natural method for anonymizing our geolocations and networks. But recent reports have shown the some of the Tor exit nodes are run by criminals and others by intelligence agency. Other nodes may be recording, blocking, or altering the traffic. So even Tor is not safe. So just be careful about it. So if you think you are using torproject.org and you are safe, you are not. If you are working for normal Osint, use VPN. It's perfectly all right and keep doing things what you want to do. If you are going deeper into the dark web, deep web, then you need to use some smart devices. Real smart tools, which is not normal Tor. It goes to the second layer, which is socket proxies plus Tor, and Tor nodes should be defined by you, not defined by the person from whom you have taken it, because they can divert your traffic, they can disclose everything. It is always safe to have your own nodes of the Tor. If you are with intelligence agencies, it is better to have your own Tors. Everywhere you should plant it and create the entire safety net around that. Most of the search engine tracks your data. Okay. DuckDuckGo search engine is one of the search engines that don't track us and try not to customize our search result. So prefer to use DuckDuckGo rather than, but still, searching on the browser is not a smart thing. Use API to search it, and the API interactions you limit through scripts, and use the aggregators rather than that. So there are tools which we'll talk about. Important thing is that you need to understand your systems and application network traffic, understand the networking very well before going into Osint. So if you are not good at networking, learn networking as much as possible. Then you need to know how to use proxy and Tor wisely. That wiseness will come over a period of time. Always use appropriate search engine, no Google in your life. You should know how to clear the cache or history of your browser every second that you do it. If you are using browser. If you don't use browser, awesome work. Always understand, there is something known as a command. I'll tell you, I'll show you. I'm just sharing you my command screen. And there is a very simple command is there. You know, if you netstat -an command, okay? Just put this command. You see that this time I am connected with so many IP address for no reason. Establish. This is loop back 127. That is fine. Okay. Then I'm connected with this IP address with so many ports I am connected. And these are the established connections. Okay. So, you know, every connection which is established provides you a clear linkages that, you know, to whom you are connected. So the moment you are connected, whether you are also divulging your information to them. So if you are connected with them with particular IP, that things, you know, if there is a callback, you know, you will come to know that you are calling back to the IP address. And you will be able to block them on the real time if you have designed your system very neatly. Suppose if you are connected at one time, one IP address, why your system should show so many of them? Go and search in your system, you will find the similar capability. So it is always good to understand that, you know, the callbacks can be found out and can be blocked if you have planned your systems very smartly. There is something known as IP tables, you know, as a part of networking, which is used for a type of firewall. You can restrict it. Only you will, this IP address, I'll connect this time. Everything else will be blocked. You can build that capabilities. Right now, I am on internet in the public domain, so all IP addresses are open. But out of 65,536 ports, I don't need any other port other than port 443. And in particular, port 443 for Zoom, I need only 4 IP address. That's it. Everything else, if I block it in my firewall or maybe create a separate IP table for that, then you are able to block the traffic to that level. Are you all with me? Getting my sense, you know, and they are all doables. But you need to understand the bits and bytes of the networking before you delve into that space.
So by blocking these IP addresses, we can still cover ourselves to 90 to 95%.
You can cover some. You know. I won't say 98%, 98%, because you're still connected. So if I give a fake IP address to other side, I cover a lot more than what I could have achieved by blocking it.
And all blocking and creating a fake address, IP address is a part of networking. We need to learn that.
Correct. You need to learn that part. Now, when you are logging into the machines, you know, right from logging into the machines to going into the realm of internet, you must know that what particular IP address you are giving, what ID you have logged into your machines, what ID you want to show it to the world, that which particular ID you have, what OS you want to show to the world. All these things are customizable. So more, you know, go delve into that area. What packets are being sent? Within the packet, what are the components which are going? Because in TCP/IP communication, it's all about packet, which is broken into pieces and then it's shared over the network. Now it goes along with the metadata. Can we temper metadata and find something more information, interesting information around that? How to do that? That requires deep understanding of the network. Okay. So always create solid operating procedure. You should never miss a single step when you are anonymous. Once you are anonymous, you have to be 100% follow the same procedure. One small mistake and your anonymity goes for a toss. So very strong standard operating procedure you need to create and follow it over a period of time, become master on it, then only you become anonymous. So, you know, there are, there are, many things you can see it here, but, you know, there are, 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 many things you can see it here, but anonymity is an important part of the journey. More you delve into it, more you know about it. How to set up a Osint platform? I think that's the next steps. After knowing all the challenge that you have to set up some nice platform around that. Okay, because setting up itself, you correct it, the foundations strong. The chances of fingerprinting or footprinting will become as minimal as possible. It won't be zero, but it will be as minimal as possible. So, what operating system you are going to there? The assessment system will house our tool and data. Operating system, that is what it will do. Now, do we want to use more than one system depending upon our target, our perceived threat profile, and many other factors? So, as an analyst, I want to use a virtual machine Osint platform or the main portions for Reconsa, but we may need to tunnel that traffic to a cloud-based system to provide additional layer of anonymizations. Now, should I use my systems to log in directly and from the hard disk, or should I use a virtual machine? Or should I use virtual machines with Tor and proxy, and my final destinations will happen from another systems in the cloud, or maybe some hacked account, or multiple hacked accounts. And through bot, I am communicating with my targets. It all depends upon that actually. So when selecting the system for Osint, we need to consider following points very, very systematically. What operating system will be used? Now, should you use VDI, or should you use SD card based bootable SD card for connecting yours to the network? Think through it. Anything that you are going through your machine, footprintings are very easy. So anything you are going through, alternate channel path, not using the machine directly, will provide minimal information about it. So what platform do your tool runs on? Now, if you're using tools, you need to say whether it will run on Mac or Linux or Windows. If it works on Windows, then you will have to use Windows. But if you use Windows, your attributions becomes easier actually. So will you use virtual machines versus something on the cloud where everything is there, and from there you will run it, the capability, or you will set up some hacked machine outside your country to do the exercise? Think through it. Those are the steps that is followed. Many times, will you use mobile phone, or will you use emulator of your mobile phones into your virtual machine? Do you understand emulator? Is that right?
No, sir.
Okay. So there are a lot of emulators. You can search in the Google and find it out. Okay. There are a lot of emulators. Blue Jack is one of them, and there are many, more than 30 open source emulators are there. Emulators are that, you have a mobile phone. Now you don't want to use your mobile phone because this mobile phone will track you. So what do? You emulate your mobile phone with certain features into your virtual machines. Now your mobile phone will be look-alike mobile phone on your computer, and you are using computer as your mobile phone. Now you can use a virtual machine, within the virtual machine another emulators as your mobile phone, and then you can see the mobiles, whatever is their application there in emulator, everything comes there. If you look into the Android Studio or something like that, they are very similar to that. But don't use Android Studio because they are all hacked. And there are a lot of backdoors, so they will know more about you. So when you are using emulators, it is better to use some emulators, smart emulators. I'll not give you the names, you can search in the Google and find it. The hundreds of emulators are there. So if so, the mobile device emulator, burner phone or real smartphone, it's all your choices. If it is a burner phone, one time I'll use it and throw it, it's okay, depending upon the nature of work. And many times, does your team have the funding to do that? Because if you are using one-time phone, iPhone, you understand 1.5 lakh are gone for one exercise, and it burns. Okay. So it should be affordable system to use and maintain. Virtualization definitely is a cheaper version, you know. It need to be trustworthy. You can trust. It has to be reliable. It has to be cleanable. It should be clean. Whenever I want, I'll clean it. I'll rebuild the image. You want it multi-user or one user? Because many times multi-users means, you know, then you have to clean your machines every time because there's no share credentials. Because anything that you are sharing it, you know, chances of getting the data leaked is very high. Should it be remotely accessible or not remotely accessible, only air gapped? All these decisions you have to take based on the money that you have and your team can afford to do that. And all these things are required based on the attribution that you're looking for. If you're looking for anonymous, you need to take more precautions around that. So it has to be affordable, trustworthy, cleanable. Cleanable is very important. Need to remove previous data and artifacts every time you log in. So it is always good to use, you know, USB device, you know, or SD card to boot it. A small 600, 800 rupees, 16 GB, 32 GB. You don't want to give a footprints, you know, just destroy it. Next time use. Always remember, whatever operating system you use, you have to connect it with one sock puppet. If you have connected with one sock puppet, you should use the same footprint every time. So you might to use one SD card with sock puppet name. Every time use the same sock puppet. Otherwise, sock puppet will be linked. Two sock puppet linked together can divulge the information. 1 + 1 = 11. And that is the reason note writing is very important. So now it can be an option, a dedicated physical system, virtual machine, or cloud platform. Nowadays, a lot of elastic computers, clouds are available, you know, where you can go and create your space and log in from your system, buy it. Many times you can't buy it, no problem. Hack into one system, take the control of S3 bucket and use it and throw it. Attribution will go to somebody else. And bill will also go to somebody else. Okay, don't do the wrong thing, okay? Web browser, virtual browsers, you can use it, you know, but I don't like using it. I use only black screens, you know, it is the best thing to do it. So working with VirtualBox, many times the VirtualBox, you know, the moment you load it in the system, divulge everything back to the Oracle, which is again funded by the intelligence agency. So everything will get divulged. So creating your own VirtualBox can be an option, you know, that you should explore. Always have a image of the VirtualBox. Every time you log in, you should use a new VirtualBox from scratch. Never use the same VirtualBox every time. Always clean the image and do it. Same thing with your operating system. If you are using same machines, you know, it is always better to use the SD cards. With every sock puppet, use the different SD cards. It's not very costly. Always good to create an image where everything is installed the way you want it to be. Everything should be hardened the way it should be. Do you all understand the word hardened?
Yes, sir.
Because hardening of your browser, hardening of your system is a prerequisite for your success. Never use administrative ID for accessing the systems. Always use normal local accounts. Never use sudo layers to it, because the moment you use sudo and go to the internet, your system gets compromised instantly and it reveals everything. As I've told you, there are handshaking means two hands. It is not one hand. So don't allow others to do any changes. SD card, you have beautiful things, you can do the hardware level of blockings. You cannot write it. But there is a challenge because you cannot download anything on that. So you have to connect another device, and that becomes a difficult part of it. So you need to balance the requirement of what information. If you want to take some, screenshot, you can use the cameras, auto-click cameras, you can use it. And that can be a good way of handling that actually. Virtual desktops, is definitely in a... Now, whether you need full desktop operating system for your Osint or just VDI is enough for you. if you are using a script, VDI is good enough for that, or you can use an operating systems which is there on your small devices. While choosing the platform, it is recommended check your team requirement. Do they have any restriction, any budget or constraints? Consult with your customer for requirement, whoever is there, department head. Evaluate your options for the source and solutions. Plan it beforehand. Choose the platform that meet your needs and use the platform for a while and reevaluate whether they meet your team's needs and change if there is a need for it. Networking and VPN is definitely, one of the capability that we need to build. Okay. So we'll stop it here today. I think, you all are really tired, give me just 1 second.